So back in 2008, I attended a women's conference, much like this. It was about 2 years after I quit my corporate job. And I met all these inspiring women and entrepreneurs, and I even got to chat with inspiring authors. And I'd always had this dream that someday I would like to write a book. I have no idea what it would be about. And frankly, this was coming from someone who didn't think of herself as a writer, okay? Or that I had anything interesting or worthy to say. And when I was in junior high school, I actually used to hunch over my desk so that people couldn't read my class notes. And when I was in college and worked at the newspaper, I opted for a safe seat at the copy desk so I could edit other people's writing and never see a word of my own published. But back at that conference in 2008, hearing all those stories of amazing women pursuing their dreams, something in me clicked. And I said, Jen, it's time. It's time. So on that plane ride home, I whipped out my journal and I started writing. I started writing to myself from the future, saying how I was already a writer, how I landed my first book deal, and how I was a published author. Now, allowing myself to really step in and claim that dream more fully than I ever had before helped propel me to take action steps to make that vision real. Now, I know that you guys have been at this conference since yesterday, and many ideas have been bubbling up for you. In fact, I've talked to many of you who have ideas that you're working on. Maybe it's writing a book, maybe it's starting a business, starting a family, launching a creative project in your community. So raise your hand if you've been inspired, you have a goal, an idea, an inkling of something that's been inspired here during your time at Emerging Women Live. Yeah, I expect to see a lot of hands because it's pretty inspiring. And imagine if you were all to claim that dream and move forward with it, what kind of change we would make in the world with this movement of women. So we could get the slide. So reaching your goal, it starts with the idea, right? And then Chantal had talked about taking those Frankenstein action steps, right? The kind of awkward, you don't know what you're doing. But in reaching the goal, it takes going out there and making things real step by step to then reach your goal. Now, I love this quote by Diane Scharf: "Goals are dreams with deadlines." So it's this nice blend of the left and right brain. And Chantal talked to us last night about the idea of duality, the masculine and the feminine. So this is just another way of looking at it. The left brain is, slightly more masculine, the logical, linear approach, step by step, the structure. So that's the deadline part of that, goals or dreams with deadlines. And the right brain is the dream. It's following your intuition. It's listening to your emotion, what you're feeling, and allowing that to move you. And so it's really this lovely blend of right and left brain that can come together and make magic happen, right? It's this meeting of the minds. Now, I loved how this morning Liz Gilbert talked to us about how there's ideas that are all around us, right? I mean, you can just feel the energy even in this room of the ideas that are bubbling forth. And how you can be a host for that idea. I would really love for each of you to be able to make that idea manifest, right? And not leave you, like she talked about. So what I'm going to do is actually share with you 5 of my favorite creative action planning tools. These are not the be-all and end-all tools. These are just some things that have really helped me along my path and have helped other people as well. Some of these may be familiar to you. You might practice them already. So just think of this as a refresher, to invite these practices back in. Some of them may be new to you, so I invite you to try them on for size. But what I'm really wanting for you, because I'm seeing so much passion, so many ideas, and I know I even heard in the bathroom somebody was overwhelmed and went for a walk, and even that didn't help clear the mind. So because we're so immersed in all of these ideas, I'm wanting you to be able to make them real. So I invite you to use these tools during the conference, in your sessions, to help you get those ideas out of your head and onto paper. You guys with me? You need some tools to corral those crazy ideas and make them happen? Okay, cool. So this first one is an oldie but goodie. You guys, many of you have probably done a vision board before. But I always love to go back to this. I love how Chantel talked about how many of her visions came true. So actually, when I did my first Right Brain business plan, I had said I wanted to write a book. So I had put this little book that I made out of paper and actually had pages, and I put a title on it. It was called Unfolding Your Life Vision. It was about using creativity for personal goals. And I put that on my Right Brain business plan. And lo and behold, that little book is actually on the cover of my real book. It's pretty crazy. It's a totally different, this book is not the original book that I was thinking of, right? It's something different. So sometimes the vision may not come about as you had thought. It might be even better than you could have ever imagined. So allow yourself to make those vision boards, to get those magazines out. We just did that in our workshop about marketing. And have that be a visual touchstone for you to remind you about what the gift is that you're wanting to bring out into the world. And actually, I'll share with you, this was a vision board that I did, I think this was back in April. So this is my latest Right Brain business plan. Pretty cool, right? Oh, and this first one is, got a microphone being on stage. I've been spending so much time in my business that I kind of neglected my personal life and my house and all of that. And I was kind of actually ashamed of my house and not wanting people to come over. I had put on this page of my business plan, making a house a home. And actually, in April, my husband and I decided to move and get a new house. And just this past Saturday, we moved into our new house. And I'm pretty excited. So it works, it works. The second creative action planning tool is, like I talked about, writing a letter to yourself from the future. And so you can start it off with, "Dear me, I'm so excited about this year that just happened, and here are all the things that I accomplished." And write it with as much feeling as you can and talk about the specifics of what you did. And this is a great exercise to do on your plane ride home after this conference, right? Or, if you're local, when you're back home, get your journal out and write yourself this letter from the future while you're still buzzing with this energy, while it's still alive in you. And then tuck it away somewhere where you don't see it for a while. And then, maybe 6 months later, a year later, you're going to bring it out and read it, and you'll be amazed at things that have happened. So this is one of those tools I highly recommend. There's this great website called futureme.org, and you can actually write an email to yourself, schedule a date for it to get sent to you, and it'll magically appear in your inbox like magic to remind you of all the cool things that you're up to. So you guys gonna try that out? Yeah? Pretty cool. The third creative action planning tool is a mind map, and that's something you guys are familiar with. Start with a goal in the middle and then brainstorm different actions. It's a great visual way to capture your ideas, get them out of your head and onto paper. And then we talked about goals or dreams with deadlines, right? So you need to have some time frame to maybe get those ideas out, and how is that going to happen? So one of my favorite things is called the sticky note project plan. And it's basically getting big sheets of paper, and actually everyone always asks me, these calendars are from PaperSource. So you can go to papersource.com and get them. But you basically put the milestone and then work backwards. So that picture there is actually from when I was working on my manuscript for this book. So April 1st, I had manuscript due. And then I worked backwards on which chapters I need to do when to turn things in. So you can color code things, move things around, which us right-brainers really love. We don't want to be stuck, set in stone. We want things to be fluid. So this is a really fun visual way of being able to map out the steps, the Frankenstein steps, that are going to get you to your goal. So I want you to take a moment and think about your goal, the idea that's been sparked here, or something maybe you've been working on for a while. So just ground yourself in that for a moment. See what it feels like. And ask yourself if there's a question about it. Maybe what's my next step? Who do I need to talk to? Anything that you have a question about. And sometimes there's a message from the universe when you're open and ready to receive. So most of you, I think everyone, should have on their seat an envelope. And if you don't, there might be an empty seat where you can find one. And now you have the green light to open this envelope and see what's inside. Okay, so you see a random page from a magazine. Okay? You might have, different sides of the magazine, so just pick the side where an image is calling to you. I'm hearing laughter. Maybe something is speaking to you. So sometimes the universe has something to tell you that you may not have thought about before. So just find an image that speaks to you on that page and think about your goal. By looking at this image, this visual, this metaphor, what shifts for you around your goal? What's possible? What confirmation do you have from the universe that you're on the right path? Seeing lots of smiles and laughter because somehow the universe knew it was on your mind. So this is a great practice to do at any point when you're stuck, you're not sure what to do next. Grab a random magazine, flip it open, pick a picture. Or you can go to flickr.com/galleries, especially for those on live stream, you can do that and see a random picture and see what it tells you. So go ahead, now that this has kind of alivened something in you, to write down, I will complete, your action step by when. Just so you have it on paper. Just make a note. So as it pertains to your goal, what's one action step that you will take by when? I'd even challenge you, what will you do by Sunday, while you're here? Right? If you guys are up for that. So we want you guys to make your ideas real. We don't want them to leave you if they are truly your ideas. So I just want to close and leave you guys with some ways to maintain the momentum now that you have some of these creative action planning tools in your back pocket when you go home, and that you could practice to make sure that you're keeping your vision alive. So the first one is put your goals where you can see them. So if you've done the vision board, you've done the collage, or if this magazine clipping is enough to tell you, I need to head in this direction, post it up so you can see it and connect with it. Take a picture of it, put it on your phone. The next is to make sure that you're sharing your vision. Talk about it. Engage other people with it. You're going to learn more about it when you are hearing how other people are responding, when you're paying attention to how you feel when you talk about your vision. And it's also an opportunity to ask for help. And what a great forum we are here in this weekend for all these supportive women to ask for help, to get accountability, to make sure that you're not letting your ideas and goals fall by the wayside, okay? And then make sure you're checking in regularly. Do quarterly check-ins. And make sure you're celebrating your successes along the way. Because every little Frankenstein step gets you closer and closer to that goal. And like I said, I'm really wanting you to take what you've already been inspired with this weekend. I know there's even more to come. And I want you to be able to take those out into the world. Share your gifts because the world needs them. So please, please, take the action steps that are needed and make your visions real. Thank you. Thank you.